and this time I'm going to do a little video on the Peugeot. So I took it for a little run the other day and the aircon wasn't working. It was a really hot day and I was steaming, but the aircon's not working. So I've booked a place at ATS in Hull and we'll take this in. We're going to get the aircon regas. I'm going to take you guys along for the ride because you might not have seen what's involved with this before. So let's go. So in my experience with cars, aircon should never really need regassing because it's a sealed system. You don't regas your fridge, do you? You know what I mean? Usually, if an aircon system needs regassing, it usually means you've got a leak. Now, what they do here is they will pressurise the system and they will test it before they try to fill it. If it doesn't hold pressure, then they'll tell you you've got a leak and then we're going to need to look at maybe getting it fixed. Now again, I've had that before in my experience. And basically they inject something into the system which I think you can see under a UV light or something like that, and then you can see where the leak is, and it's probably in one of the pipes and the pipes will need replacing. I've done it before, strange enough, on a Peugeot. It was a Peugeot 405 that I had years ago. Went to get that regassed, had a leak in it. They had the aircon pipes running near the front of the vehicle and they were prone to getting stone chips on them and nicking the pipe and causing the leak. I don't know if this car's exactly the same, but I'm not sure how far this company will go, whether they'll tell me where the leak is or whether they'll just say it won't hold pressure, we can't do it, mate. But anyway, let's get there and hopefully they'll let us film and yeah, let's see what's involved. I've just noticed that this car has actually got a flat bottom steering wheel. So where we are at ATS in Hull, and the car has now gone in there and hopefully it's going to get that aircon recharged. Let's watch and see what happens. So I'm secretly filming now because they said I couldn't film, so they both walked away and they just left it doing something, so I'm not sure if it's charging or it's pressurising at the moment. So it looks like they just banged it on the machine and gone to do something else. This is going to be boring, so we'll leave it until they've finished and then I'll let you know the results. Okay, got the car back and unfortunately it didn't work, but there's no leaks in the system, but what they're saying is it looks like the compressor is not turning on, so the aircon compressor is not kicking in when you press the button. So I'm going to have to research that and have a look what that could be. So here we are in the engine bay and looking underneath what we've got here. This is the aircon compressor, and what it has this clutch here, look. So this clutch is free running so that when your aircon is off, then this pulley system spins the pulley underneath the clutch and does not engage the aircon unit. Now when you press your aircon button, what you do is you energize a magnet underneath this which pulls this down onto the pulley and makes the aircon compressor start to spin. So the first step is we need to see if we're getting 12 volts when we turn on the air conditioning switch to this magnet to energize it. So I've got a multimeter, I'm going to put it on to 20 because that's where it goes when it needs to measure 12, and we're going to have a look. So we're going to put the earth on the earth of the battery and we'll just confirm that by touching onto the positive of the battery. And yet we're reading 13 volts, so that's good. So this plug here is one that supplies power to the magnet. This is what gets the power when you turn on your air conditioning. So we're going to pull this plug off and then measure it with the multimeter. I was hoping it was just a fuse, but as you saw there, we did get 12 volts from that. So yeah, the meter told us there was 12 volts on there. So that looks to me like it's something to do with a magnet that's not working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to order a second-hand unit of this because we can just swap the magnet out. And here it is. So I bought this off eBay, second-hand parts. This was £25 delivered. So, you know, that would be much cheaper than buying the parts that I need out of this end brand new. So this is the exact same code number as one that came off my car, right down to the -02 at the end there. And what I can show you is, if you didn't understand how these work, then basically this is connected to the drive belt, the auxiliary belt, and that's continually spinning around like that. And it's a free running. So it's got like a clutch mechanism which makes this totally free running till you press your aircon button. When you press your aircon button, the magnet under here energizes and pulls this part down to connect with this wheel that's spinning. So when the magnet in here energizes, this comes down and it now goes round with the wheel, and it now turns the compressor and starts your air conditioning. So before we start stripping the magnet out of the new one, or the second-hand one I've bought, what I've done, I've pulled the plug out the original air compressor, which is down there, and I've plugged it into the replacement one, and we've got it here. So now we can see that both parts spin individually. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start the engine, and then I'm going to press the aircon button. Hopefully that should energise that magnet and lock that onto that. Then we know the magnet's working. Hopefully you can hear me over the engine. This is where the aircon button is in the off position. So look, so this outer bit spins freely and the inner bit is totally independent. So let's go turn on the aircon and see if that energises and locks up. And it does. So this is now, this bit is now locked onto this bit, so we'll turn the compressor. So next stage is we'll get this back in the garage, and then we can strip this part off, just see how easy it is to do, or how hard it is to do, and then we can come and attack the one in the car. So now we've proved this magnet's working, what I'm going to do, I'm going to dismantle this unit here in the garage to get this magnet out, and then I can see how hard that job is. To do that, I've had to buy some new tools, because I thought I had some, but checking, I didn't have any of these. And these are circlip pliers, so I've just bought some US Pro Tool. I've had a bit of US Pro Tool stuff, and it's been alright actually. So I bought these, it was quite cheap, but it's an assortment of circlip pliers, so that should help me dismantle this unit. So let's get it apart and see how hard it is. So I think I've got the tools I need, so it's a 14mm socket to go on this nut at the end here. And I got one of these, which is for an angle grinder, so you can release it to take the actual wheel off. And I was hoping that would fit in to these, which it kind of does, but then I just can't get the socket on, so that's not going to work. So what I thought of, I've got an Allen key, quite a large Allen key, and I'm going to put the ratchet on there, put the Allen key underneath. I'm hoping I can replicate this on the car. I'm just going to use this piece of wood here because it digs into this table, and then hopefully this will leverage against that Allen key and release the nut. Here we go. Ah, yes, excellent. It wasn't that tight actually, I thought it would have been tighter. And it is, yes. So if you can see on there, so there is splines on the edge of there, and they just fit on the end of that bit there. But now we're down to a circlip inside there. Time for the new pliers. There is also a washer on here. So get this down as order of assembly down here. So I've got the nuts, I've got the it's very rusted that look. I'll look at the one I take off and see which is in the better condition. That is basically a clutch there. Washer, circlip. That would, well, that's an inner one, and there's an outer one here. So let's just do this outer one. Outer circle. Now, this should, yep. That came off nice and easy. That was an inner circlip, but I'd already taken that off previously. And that reveals the magnet. So this is the magnet here. So we now need to get this magnet off. I think this might be quite a bit of fun. What I also need to do is to release this socket as well, so that the whole magnet comes off. That's just one crosshead screw. And then there's one more large circlip just near holding the magnet on. Then hopefully this magnet should come off. A little bit stiff, just give it a bit of... And there we have it. So the inner circlip, that's just in that bit there. You don't need to take that one off. I think that's if you're going to take this cover off. Now I'm not sure how easy that's going to be to do on the actual car, but let's have a look, see what access we've got, and let's go see if we can get this fitted back onto the car. If I take this cover and this cover off, I think I might be able to get access. I'll be able to see part of it under there anyway. It's going to give me a little bit better. So let's get these off and see what access we've got. And that's going to be this panel removal tool to get the centre of this bit out here, which then comes out and then allows this to come out like so. Dead easy. And we need a Torx bit for these. Covered in mud now. Whew. There's a lot of mud inside there. Look, here's where I want to get to. So if we get this piece off, then we should be able to get to that a lot easier. Let's get this plastic cover off as well. That nicely gives us access down here. Now, these plastic covers have got to come off. And of course, just a little job harder, there is one nasty little bolt just under there, which has got to come out as well. And that's it, she's out. So we've got quite a bit of access to this, which is good. Now I'm hoping that, I'm not sure I'm going to get my leverage to get that nut off, but it wasn't that hard. Okay, so now we can see the whole thing here. So what I'm going to do, before I remove the belt, just so that holds this bit still here anyway, I'm going to now see if I can get this nut off here. So remember what I did back on the bench? I put my ratchet on here, like so. It's going to be a little bit tighter to work on. And then I used an Allen key to leverage against the ratchet. Now, this ain't going to be so easy in this confined space. What I might do is just see if I can get a metal bar to go across here to rest that Allen key on, just to stop it moving. Okay, so we've got that leverage against there. Oh yeah! Okay, now we just need to get this off. Which, this was a bit of a pain, but just wobble it a bit and just leverage it, then hopefully that should come off. Okay, so that's that wheel off and the washer, if you remember. So I need to put these down so we can reassemble it again correctly when we put it all back together. So next is a circlip that holds this on. So let me get that while this is nice and solid. That's that out. Now what needs to release now is this drive belt. So I'll do that from above. I'll show you how we do that. Okay, so the way we're going to take tension off this belt is there's a pulley wheel down here that needs to move in, so get that and turn that like so. Should be able to remove the belt from it. Oh, that's it, that is a tight belt. Whew. Right, I'm just leave the belt there because then I'll know exactly how it went on. Okay, that's now released this pulley wheel. And hopefully that should just come off. So the trick for this is, I just tested on the one that I took apart in the garage, and this needs to come off square. So I need to pull it at both sides. If you're trying to lift it up one side, it's never going to move. And that just popped off dead easy, because there's a bearing in there, so that's a bearing. And yeah, good surfaces on that. Right, so down to the magnet. So now it leaves us one more very large circlip to get off. Luckily all these circlips are in the right angle, so I can just get in without having to shift this pipe. And if I'm lucky, or whether that's how it's designed. One big circlip. So now we need to release this bolt. If you remember, there's just one screw holding the socket on, so let me go get a screwdriver and take that off. Alright, now that's off, this should just come off, and it does. So it's got a locating tab there, which I just noticed. Let's shine the camera. So it's got a locating tab just there, which actually goes into that bit there. So let's put the other one on straight away, in the same way. So locating tab, that's it. Right, it just dropped down, so I think I'm gonna get the circlip onto that. Okay, so that on, bit of a pain, so I'm gonna go screw up the power here and continue. In fact, no, I'll leave that. Let's continue what we're doing here. So next one on is the pulley, and again this has got to go on square, otherwise it'll be a pain to get on. So now it's the circlip for that. Okay, that's that on. Next is the washer, and lastly it's the clutch mechanism. I need to bolt that up. That's it. Right, let's get this belt back on. That was easier said than done. It's got two tensioners, so it's got this tensioner here, which is the main one I think, and then this one here, which I'm not sure what that one does. So I had to jam this one back and put a spanner in to hold it, take some pressure off, and then I used this one all the way back, got the belt on, and it's all sitting there nicely. So next thing to do is get the screw in and screw that socket back on to the edge of the compressor. So she's ready, so make sure the belt's on correctly where it is, and what we're going to do is we're going to go start the car and see whether it works before we put this cover back on. Okay, aircon is off. Let's go check that everything's spinning nicely under there. Okay, that's looking good. So what we need now is when we engage the aircon, we want that to be spinning. Oh yes! Look at that. So sitting here for a minute and just see whether we get nice cold air coming through. And yes, we do. That is nice cold air coming through there. Excellent. All right, what we'll do is let's turn it off and let's put it all back together, and then we'll take it for a little test drive. Oh yes, she is nice and cold. I've got maximum aircon going there, and yeah, she's lovely. Great little fix that. So there we go, what a great little fix. Yeah, it was £25 for a new compressor, and I just took the piece that I wanted off it and fitted on there. It's the magnet. So this could be happening if you've got an aircon that's not working in your vehicle. Check that the actual compressor is spinning, because if it isn't, then it's probably the magnet. As long as you're getting power to the magnet and it's not activating it, then it could well be that. So this fix I've done here could be the same to fix your aircon in your car. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Till the next time, stay safe.